Pedersen, oh, it's 1-0 Blues! What a header that is! Christian Pedersen with a bullet header.
It's then floated towards the back post, Jukovic in there, Jukovic! Oh, what a header! This man is on red-hot form at St Andrews at the moment.
And it goes again towards the towering Zigic. Oh, confusion at Martins has surely scored the winning goal for Birmingham City.
Hello and welcome to the Blues Talk podcast here on Blues TV with me, Callum Denning and Dale Moon. Today, joined by a man who has made the centre-half position in Blues starting 11 his own this season. Marc Roberts is here on the podcast. And as well as that, we're joined by new recruit Josh McEachran to take on the Quickfire Questions, as well as looking back on a trip to Leeds and a fantastic win here at St Andrews Trillion Trophy Stadium over Blackburn.
The Blues Talk podcast with Dale Moon and Callum Denning.
Right, Dale, Blues Talk podcast back here on Blues TV. Going strong.
Yes, and what a good time for us to chat about Blues. Another win in the bag. Defeat as well since the last time we recorded, but encouraging signs to take from it against a very good Leeds team. But no, it's looking good, isn't it? I mean, you look at the style of play and what Pep's trying to do. We're picking up points at a decent enough rate that justifies it. So they're looking forward to what will be tomorrow's game against Luton Town. Back-to-back home games, always tough. 3 games in a week. He's got to rotate, but you know, you almost lost Gary Gardner, but then you've regained Ivan Sunjic. The team selection will be interesting. But no, I think we're sitting in a fairly decent position, just coming up on the outside. 3
points off the playoffs as it stands, by the way. This league is so tight in the opening months of the season. It's unreal. But let's start with that defeat at Elland Road. I know it's a sour note to start on, but it's got to be done. The centenary game, by the way, of Leeds United. So we went there with the opportunity to be party poopers, and we gave it a go. Yeah, I think we fought fire with fire. I think you know what you're going to get with Leeds. Move the ball very well. They've been very strong at Elland Road in the past few seasons. And for the first half, they were the better team. Put us under pressure, found little gaps in behind us down the flanks. We couldn't get to grips with the fact they went with a 3 at the back, which we didn't anticipate. And I think for the large part, we were defending. That being said, Camp's probably had to make 1-2 routine saves. No real fantastic, springing match-winning saves. So they protected him fairly well. But you get yourselves in at half-time, have a little look at it. Pep would have been pleased that he was still in the game at 0-0. And I think second half, we were the better team. Absolutely.
We've knocked on the door at various stages. We put some fantastic passages together. Fran Villalba was finding little pockets of space on the half turn, sliding balls through to Jimenez. And the unfortunate part is I think Brian Dick made a comment at the press conference this week. When Leeds scored, it was at our most dominant period. I think the crowd at Elland Road were silent. They were a little edgy at around the 60-minute mark. And unfortunately, it's just a momentary lapse, and we've looked at it a few times, and it's tough to really pinpoint where we conceded that goal. I think Jude plays the pass potentially a little blind and just expects Max to be there. I think Max is actually glancing to his right up the pitch, ready for and backpedaling, ready for when the ball does come. It comes at him a little quickly. All of his weight's going backwards. He can't sort his feet out in time. And I think it's Harrison that just nicks it off him. And then
Calvin Phillips. Yeah. And of all the people to score for the Leeds centenary game, it's the Leeds boy.
Yeah, they were happy.
Jude, of course, quick to apologise on Twitter, showing the maturity for his age. Not, as we said, entirely his fault.
No, absolutely not. But again, like we've said, maturity is not something you worry about when it comes to Jude. And I don't think the blame can. And I'm not in the business of blaming anyone, but I don't think it lies at the feet of any one player.
No,
it's just an unfortunate little momentary lapse. And again, you hear the word fine margins, but that game's decided on just that little split second, that one pass. And he finishes off well enough. I know 1 or 2 have a look at Lee Camp, but I think he's exposed from 12 yards out in the middle of the box.
Coming at him with power.
If he makes the save, it's a great save, rather than, if he's conceded the goal, it's a poor attempt to keep it out. So, but even after their goal, the response was good. I mean, like I mentioned Villalba, and he was moved to a more central position, I think, and started to get on the half turn and showed that technical ability that he's good at, and was slipping passes through. And we still look to get Max involved and Crowley. Harley Dean goes on one or two of his bursting runs
Trademark
forward.
powering runs at this point, by the way.
Yeah. And then lifts one towards the back post. And Lukas Jukovic, if he's on the pitch, he nods it in. And take nothing away from Christian Pedersen, who's probably the second best header in the team. But it's just stretching a little too much in the end. He couldn't quite guide it inside the post. I'm not sure if he went wide and over or one or the other, but just narrowly misses the target. And that was the big chance in added time for us to have got what I thought would have been a deserved point. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But that's, again, one of the games you look back on, similar to probably Derby, where you say you've actually played well and deserved more than we got.
Well, it's almost encouraging that Blues conceded a goal in that nature in a bizarre way, because you're going to a team like Leeds, who are expected to be up there, by the way, at the end of the season, and they're having to catch you on the break and seize on those momentary lapses of concentration, rather than just batter you for 90 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think they played their way through us, and Pep's post-match comments were quite telling. He said you can come to Leeds and you can pack the midfield and sit behind the ball, bank in your 2 banks of 4 and just hope to nick something, or you can have a go. And it's clear in his mind. I think it's becoming evident in everyone who's watched us now for the past 12 games, is we're going in one direction, and there's going to be bumps in the road, but they've made a conscious decision. They've almost decided this is the way we're going to go, with conviction, and they're not going to waver for any one result. And I think they've done that even at Leeds. There's no one to be scared of in the division. You look at how you already mentioned how wide open this league is. I don't worry about us going to anywhere. And I know we've got a tank in at Forest and Swansea. But pre-game, it's not one that you think, you know what, we might have to just sit tight and hope for the best here. I fancy us going up against anyone. Yeah, and I think it's refreshing.
We had that, not so much moment of doubt, but almost intrigue going into the Charlton game. I remember at the Valley going, right, they're top of the league at this point. Are we going to go for it? And you can say now with some certainty that no matter what game we go into, we are going to have a go.
And that's what I think we haven't had in the past few years. We've always been, and we'll hear from Marc Roberts shortly, but he said, people from outside the club, I think, view Birmingham City as that blue-collar, attritional, gritty, quite hostile place to go, who are going to make you work and are always hard-working, but perhaps haven't had the quality and technical ability and the beauty on the ball that other teams have had. And we're just changing that slowly but surely. And it's always going to have its doubts, because there'll be results along the way that hasn't quite gone for us, and it'd be easy for us to revert back to what we used to. So it may well be short-term gain for long-term prosper, but let's just see what happens, because at the minute I think every game that goes by, Pep don't need to mention about a change in play, and we don't need to keep banging the drum of this transitional period work in progress. It's there for all to see, and it's evident in the performances.
Of course, a couple of bumps in the road, as you mentioned, against Swansea and Forest, learning a new system. But we kind of had a look on Blues TV before the Blackburn game. Some of the passages of play in those early games, it's been there and it's been slowly bubbling almost since the start of the season.
Yeah, the Bristol City one was the first time I remember thinking, hello, I haven't seen this when.
It's new.
Yeah, it was the build-up play before Jukovic's chance where he fired it up towards the near post. And we've probably then just made those periods longer. So, yeah, we may have had that one against Bristol City, and then you move on and you try and make that, real good 10 minutes of play away from home. But at St Andrews, we're taking the game to the opposition, and it's just about extending that across a longer period of time. So that's just the way we play now. Of course, the opposition, and Pep, it's one thing that I have caught on to when Pep talks about how we're trying to play, is you forget that there's an opposition who's trying to stop everything we're trying to do. So it's okay saying we're going to do this and that, but if they're playing well and won't let you, if their system actually is making life difficult, we're not going to be at our pretty best all the time.
No.
But it makes it good value entertainment to come down and watch a game. I mean, traditionally, especially here at St Andrews, and I say this as a supporter, not as an employee of the club, you'd sometimes dread coming down to watch a game on a Tuesday night against a Blackburn or against a Millwall or a Bolton, or just those teams it's going to be a tough game. There's not going to be much football played.
War of attrition.
Physical battle. You don't worry that now. You don't worry about that as much. Even at Blackburn, the first 45 minutes, I mean, we've pinged the ball around. The lead up to that goal, we wouldn't have seen that in a good few years.
Well, let's talk about that goal. That first goal starts with a throw-in on the halfway line. Played around the back. Blackburn don't get a sniff of the ball. Comes in, onto Maxime Collin, of all people's head. Back to the net. He does a somersault. cruising.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think I tweeted liquid football.
Very Partridge.
Yeah, absolutely, because it just felt like, I think the first pass is key. I think Jude Bellingham gets his foot on it and he breaks the lines. Dan Crowley picks up a lovely position between the Blackburn back four and midfield, and it means that then we're now looking to get that runners going and fires it into Villalba. And like you said, a little exchange, a little flick from Van Villalba. Dan Crowley's cross is fantastic. His body shape's actually facing the other way, but he wraps his left foot around it. And, a mark of how this team are playing is the fact that your right back is the player who nods it in from 2 yards out, ends up in the goal mouth, legs high up in the air for his trouble. But, even Christian Pedersen down the other side, I'm sure Peds would never have been encouraged to get this far forwards or felt naturally he could do that.
We said to him a few weeks ago, didn't we? Like, are you allowed into the opposition half?
Yeah, that's it. We were bantering almost about the fact that he never does it. But he's been given that licence to now. And this is actually, just talking about it, sparked a bit of a memory. Kevin Broadhurst in commentary in the studio, when the game's going on and say John will be commentating with Adili or whoever, or be in the studio with Kev, obviously the mics are off, but he's screaming sometimes when the ball's to our right hand side for Christian Pedersen to start creeping forwards, and he should be higher up the pitch. And last year that just wasn't the way we were playing. We were very much about preserving the point, make sure that we don't get done on the counter, and if we can do a bit of magic in the final third to win it, then let the forward thinking players go and do it. And I just think more and more this season, we've maintained that core of senior players and the way that we've been well organised, as we saw in the second half against Blackburn, and sprinkled a little bit of magic, a little bit of invention and creativity with a Crowley, a Villalba, a Bellingham. And at the minute, it's paying off.
Away from the creativity, how good has Crowley's delivery been this season? We saw it in the last home game, of course, onto the head of Odin Bailey. Before that, he's created the opportunity. And again, exact same against Blackburn Rovers, back stick.
Yeah, the thing about those sorts of players is your diminutive number 10s is they can flatter to deceive at times. You watch a player and he's on the ball, he looks busy, he's buzzing around the pitch, he'll lend it, he'll give it to someone else, get it back and twist and turn. That's all fine, but what's your currency as a number 10? If we're going to go with Lukas Jukovic and 3 behind him, then those 3 have to chip in with goals and assists. That's what they're judged on. And Dan Crowley said, I think, after one of our trips early in the season, he just wants more goals and assists now. He knows the value of that position. Otherwise, you're floating through the game looking pretty on the eye, but not having an impact on it.
Yeah, what's your end product?
He's started to have an impact on games now. You mentioned the one cross towards the back post for Odin Bailey, another one then for Maxime Collins. So he's not only getting into the final third and picking up dangerous positions, but he's got the nous and just that little bit of precision to find a final pass that leads to a goal.
Could be quite a nice segue into our guest this week. Let's have a mention as well for the back line and, of course, Lee Camp in goal against Blackburn. An excellent save from Campy, by the way, with that deflection.
You know what's fantastic? I couldn't believe this. Right. So I have this discussion after the game with family members, and I say, we've protected Lee Camp so well, and he's only really had the one save to make, and it was a deflected effort up into the air. And certain unnamed family members will say, what's he doing that far off his line, to mean that he has to backpedal and push it over.
Yeah.
And at that point, I said, you know what? I'd rather not. It's not worth the argument.
You're not going to win.
If you're not willing to even open your eyes and see what was in front of us, then fine. I thought it was a tremendous save. He's had to react to it. And I think he's off his line to narrow the goals down, to make them look smaller. But he loops at a horrible little trajectory, and it is dropping in well underneath the crossbar. So a fantastic save. But I mean, he was protected so well. I mean, I've lost count of the number of headers that Marc Roberts won that day, and Harley Dean reads the game so well, and he's more naturally averse to stepping in, although he took that slip, didn't he, and posted the picture on his Instagram.
The sniper in the Tilton.
Yeah. But that comes more naturally to Harley. He's willing to step in. But I just thought, your bread and butter defending, what you taught as a young defender, head everything, win your individual battles, don't take any chances. If it has to go out of play for a throwing up the pitch, so be it. I thought it was going back to proper old school Blues that we mentioned from 2, 3, 4 years ago, and what we've built that foundation on. And what Pep said he wants to keep hold of, when he was talking in the summer, it wasn't a wholesale revolution, it was more of an evolution.
Yeah.
And I think to keep hold of, the second half showed exactly that. That was what an old-fashioned Blues was. Well organised, defend when you have to defend, dig in and see out the game, and credit to him. And it just goes to show that Blues can do both sides of the game.
That attacking nous combined with that grittiness at the back. And the man who has epitomised that this season, Barnsley's own Marc Roberts.
Marc Roberts is a new man, isn't he? He's like an unrecognisable figure that's been here for a couple of years now, but he's transformed because of the confidence that he's going through at the minute. He's out a consistent run of games, a manager who believes him. You'll hear shortly how important he values that. But a player who has physically all the attributes to be a very good player. 6'3", 6'4", good spring. When he heads things, he don't let the ball hit his head. He powers it back from where it came. And I think often players the art of heading's lost a little bit because they just think that the ball hitting their head is a header. He absolutely puts everything into it and really gets some distance in those clearances. Read the game very well. I'm thinking back to Leeds as I was positioned near the front post. When they did get in behind us down the flanks, it was very good just to prevent the ball from coming into the box. And Harley Dean alongside him, they're striking up a partnership. And he's a great character, Robbo. And I think it's important to remember that he was going for the club was at a volatile stage when he first joined. And as he says, from his own admission, there wasn't too much structure to what they were doing. And I think it all added up to not seeing the very best of what Marc Roberts can do. Whereas now I think we're starting to see the player that we thought we bought, and he was beaming. I think he said after the game on Tuesday, when we pulled him for an interview, he went, "I'm glowing."
You got to do it in his accent, by the way.
I'm glowing. I said I'm glowing.
Hang on.
But yeah, great guy. Great to see him playing near his best. And comes out with one or two corking little quotes as well, but just stinks of Yorkshire.
The Blues Talk Podcast.
Marc Roberts, thank you for your time.
Not a
Joining
problem.
us at a miserable, wet, windy afternoon.
It's lovely, mate.
Winter's here. It's
Yeah,
good
but
for
you're
Yorkshire,
rock
this, isn't
hard.
it?
You're granite, mate.
It's like a summer's day from the north, mate.
I know you're a big fan of our podcast. You've listened to all 15 of them. But I want to just get into... We won't do this chronologically. I want to start off with this week. Fantastic defensive display in that second half on Tuesday night to win the game against Blackburn. And I think you've headed the most amount of footballs
I'm used to it. Have you seen the news that's come out recently about dementia and stuff? That's 100% me. I'm knackered, mate.
But if you'd have played...
I'm absolutely knackered.
Well, that's with the balls that we've got today. Imagine years ago with the heavyweight ones. You'd have been in trouble.
Might get away with it now.
But that was a game that suited you, mate. Everything that was into the box, I think you was a magnet to the ball. It was just literally Marc Roberts' defensive display.
Well, any centre-half's the same, I think. If you're a centre-half, you can't edit. You're struggling a little bit.
Some try and be pretty today, though.
Yeah, true, but I think majority of centre-halves, come on.
Yeah.
You're there to do a job like that, aren't you?
Yeah.
So if you can't do that properly...
Yeah.
No hope.
No.
But he spoke to us after the game,
Yeah.
and I did ask you about what it's like standing there watching some of the football that's going on in front of us. We haven't seen that, and I think people who've been coming down the Blues for years haven't seen that style of play. It must be good just to sit back, give it to someone.
Yeah, like you say, it's different, isn't it? Because even before I came here, you'd think of Blues as a grafting team that's just going to play off second balls and stuff like that. So that's obviously when I were at Barnsley. So what's that, like 4 or 5 years? Do you know what I mean? So obviously before that, I can imagine you can go a lot further. So it's nice to change and have a bit of a different angle and know that, like you say, we can actually go back to that if needed.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have an option in it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I imagine it's a bit nicer for the fans as well to see a bit of nice
keep
football. Yeah, not from me, like.
Is it? Yeah, you say that. Well, Harley Dean said to us after the Leeds game, it's harder to play this way as a centre half.
It is sometimes because you get obviously everybody splits the pitch to play football, but it doesn't always work out. So when the ball breaks down in the middle of the pitch and you're split and you're wide open, you're almost like you're scrambling to get back in shape. So it is sometimes a bit harder for us.
Yeah,
it's harder to manage when to split and when to not.
I think as a centre half, it's like a rabbit in the headlights moment where you take a touch, you're looking for something. You have another touch, you're still looking. And then you
sometimes. Like I've played a couple of games this season where I've got the ball and it's like easy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels easy, but then like there's other games where obviously stuff happens and it's a bit like, well, there's no, and you don't really want to take that many risks as a centre half. That's the other thing that people probably won't understand.
Yeah.
Never been tempted to go on a mazy run?
Nah, that's not me. That
Harley's had a go, innit?
to be fair, in the game I give Max one out wide, and I thought, I'm going for
He
it.
did. When?
I set off for a 1-2 down the line, but it never came.
I think
and then I just thought, oh my God, I've got a recovery run now, and it was about 40 yards.
That's just Max knowing his players, that is.
Yeah.
Max knows who to give it to.
Hey, what are you trying to say, man?
Nah, but mixed bag of results this season, but it's a team much in transition. You look at some of the good performances that we've put in, and they seem to have came in the last month. You look at even Leeds away, Middlesbrough, the Charlton game, and then on Tuesday night. Do you think something's clicked in the last 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah, you say that, but I know we've not played the best, but it's a tough league, and you even look at like the Preston game. I really don't see why we shouldn't have got something out of that game. Even though I'm not saying we played well, but as the league is, I don't think you necessarily always have to play relatively well. You can get away with 1 or 2 and still pick up results. And you've seen the other side. We played well against Leeds and we get beat. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Derby the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Derby the same. I didn't play Wigan, but I watched it and I still thought we did all right in patches. It's the old smash and grab, innit? Teams do it. We did it to Brentford. We got battered against Brentford. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just the way we are, we ground it out and ended up scoring a absolute 40-yard header.
Oh God, header.
Granite.
Yeah,
so, do you know what I mean? It's one of them. But
it seems that league though, Robert. It's that sort of league.
That's what I mean. And you look at the league and no one really looks like they want to run away. Not that they don't want to, but no one's going to run away with it. It's going to be tight. So if you can grind out results, maybe when you're not playing the best, I think you've got a bit of a chance, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you enjoy playing at home? Pep was saying on Tuesday he had the look of a team that enjoyed playing at home. When sometimes I think it's been said that you can
like
be fearful in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when I first came here, it was difficult because you've got that expectation. I think that's a little bit different coming from a club like Barnsley. With no disrespect, they're a bit smaller and expectation as much.
Right.
And when you've got that many fans behind you that are not happy with stuff, and you're sort of then playing a bit on edge, and you make a little mistake, and might not even mean anything, not lead to anything, but in the back of your mind you're thinking,
it's edgy.
Do you know what I mean? You're a bit edgy.
Yeah.
Whereas playing in front of them when you're doing well and they're behind you makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
Gives lads confidence, do you know what I mean? To try things and not really worry about what the outcome is. In the final third you've got players like Dan and Fran and that can just go and express themselves a little bit without really having the fear of, if I lose the ball everyone's going to get on my back. Do you know what I mean? Especially the way we want to go forward, you've got to sort of accept that you're going to lose the ball and you've got to be brave to keep getting on it and make mistakes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like your centre half trying to play 1-2s.
I don't get used to that.
Mate, you are
lost my head a little bit.
You're playing with as much confidence as I've ever seen you play since you've been in the club. This is the Marc Roberts that I think.
Of course. I just feel the same as when I did before I came here. Really. Obviously, like I say, when I came here, it were a bit. I said in a couple of interviews, it were a bit all over the place. I don't think the club was in a great place. To be fair, change managers, change ideas. Nobody really knowing what the crack was really, and I think that showed on the pitch. I don't care how good you are, if you've got no structure behind you and you don't really know what the job is, and people don't know what the job is around you, you're not going to succeed. Like I say, I don't care how good you are, you need something like that behind you as a platform to play well and perform. Yeah, and it is nice to step into an environment again like that. Like I say, and just feel a little bit of confidence behind what you're doing.
Yeah, I think you were fortunate last year just that Morrow and Harley were playing so well.
Yeah, and I said that in numerous interviews I did last year. I couldn't really complain because the club were doing well, the lads were doing well, the ideas were great. Do you know what I mean? It was one of them that I just had to sit back and wait if I got a chance. Do you know what I mean? And that's just one of them. That's football. Yeah, one of them. I'm not going to complain.
But it's only like players that you're keeping out now.
If we were struggling and then I still weren't playing, do you know what I mean? It would have been a bit different, but like you say, it's the same. Jake good player. Do you know what I mean? You got to feel a bit for him.
Yeah.
He's in the same sort of situation as I was, so it's just one of them. That's just football, and I think as a professional, you've just got to get on with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Yeah, and then when the opportunity comes, it's up
yeah.
to you.
That's the thing. You've got to sort of take your chance when it comes.
Yeah. Did you know when Morrow left that you were going to get the opportunity? Did Pep ever say to you this season you're going to get
To
a
be
run?
fair, he were always good with me last year. He always said to me like he liked me and stuff. I didn't, obviously, when Gary went, I didn't know you were going to get the job. So you're never really secure in football when stuff like that happens. You don't really know what's going to happen. And especially off the back of last year, I was like, I'm not really sure what. You don't really know where you're going to go. I mean, obviously, I have quite a few years left. So I had that sort of behind me, so I knew that I'd have a chance at least. And then Pep, obviously, when he came in, he just said to me that I'd be the one that sort of slots in there as long as I went in there and did all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I say, it's nice to have someone behind you that's got that confidence in you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes a big difference to players.
Yeah, no, you can see that.
You see it all the time, not just with me. Like I say, you see it with quite a lot of players. Not even just here. Do you know, I see other players from other clubs do it. People I know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes the environment a lot better for the young players to come into. You look at the players that have come in this year: Seds, Odin, Jude. When the confidence is there and the supporters are behind you, you can see what you're trying to do. It's a better environment
just
for them
knowing someone's behind you, and there's not like I said before, there's not like edginess behind your performance. You know you can come in and just play how you play and not really get
hammered for
battered for it. Because
that when you do get, do you ever read anything? Do you ever look into it? Do you block it?
Not anymore, no.
Oh, that's just you used to though.
Yeah, it's hard not to, isn't it? Come on, everyone's on social media these days, and it's hard not to be.
Yeah.
And even when you've got a spare 10 minutes, everyone's on the phone and scrolling on.
Of course, yeah.
And I got some pelters.
I just read it and go,
pelters. Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I say I don't take it in, but it's hard not to. You know what I mean? And sometimes, like when my first year, you do sort of start questioning yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It is tough to take sometimes, but then on the other hand, the only opinion that matters to me is whoever's in charge.
Yeah.
So, like I say, when you've got someone behind you that's in charge and they've got confidence in you and you know you've got that backing, that's the only opinion that matters to me, really. Not that fans, do you know what I mean? I value the fans for what they are and stuff, but it's not them that pick the team at the end of the day. But I took some batterings. Like
tagging you in it as well.
Yeah.
Getting tagged, so you can't miss it. Yeah, you've got to read it.
Yeah.
But you feel like you've come out the other side, and I think that's again a testament to your mental character. That
it's again, like I said, you look at players come and go and get through these all the time. Do you know what I mean? You're a professional. This is what you play the game for. This is what you should expect. Not expect.
Is it just the baggage that comes with it?
You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Northern little thing for you there.
Wow, we're going to come on to that. How did you get to this point then, Robert? Take us right back to the very start as you as a footballer.
Oh, it's been a graft.
Yeah, it's not been an A to B sort of journey, has it?
It's not been your star-studded journey, no.
Tell us about it.
No, so always played football, obviously, like everybody else. Never really got the chance to get any trials or whatever. I was a bit smaller when I was younger. I don't know whether I was all right. I think I were anyway. I used to actually play a bit like midfieldy type player. Do you know what I mean? And then I got a bit bigger. That's when I broke my ankle, like we were talking about before.
So you broke it at 17.
Yeah.
When you're on the cusp of a trial.
No, we were a bit younger, 16. Right. So it was like my last year at college. So 17.
So you weren't at any academies as a kid?
No, never even been on a trial. Like I played for Barnsley schoolboys a couple of times, but
nothing major.
17. I've been 17. Broke my ankle. I was supposed to go on a trial with Barnsley at the time.
Were you a Barnsley fan growing up? Did you support a local club?
Everyone always says this. I mean, I don't really support anyone. I couldn't tell you heart and soul behind that team. Do you know what I mean? But I've always followed like Barnsley. And my dad's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. Right. So one of my mates from school, Mark Beavers, used to play for Sheffield Wednesday. So it's one of them. I look out for results, but I couldn't really say I don't think you can really say you support someone unless you go and watch every week, or
absolutely,
you have gone and watched every week. So it's not something I've ever labelled myself with. But
still,
Barnsley, obviously, from Barnsley, know a lot of people. Barnsley fans always looked out for the results. Been to watch them a couple of times, so it were a big thing for me at that time. And obviously, when it didn't happen, bit gutting.
Yeah.
Thought like you're at that age, and I'd never had that chance before. It's a bit like you think, oh, he's gone. Do you know what I mean? So
how did you do? Did you do playing for a?
I just did it for playing for a local team. Yeah.
Landed and
just bang snap.
Right. So that trial then doesn't happen.
Yeah, no.
So then where'd you go at 17?
I went to uni and I signed for Wakefield. I think that might have been back when it was a Unibond.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unibond Prem, I think they were in.
Okay.
Ronnie Glavin was the manager.
No nonsense. This
legend,
is men's football. Yeah.
That was good for me, to be fair. Played week in, week out. Obviously not the greatest of standard, but men's football grew up a lot. And then I moved to Worksop with Martin McIntosh. He used to play for Rotherham.
Yeah.
Decent lad. Great manager at that level. Did me the world of good there. And I actually followed him to Buxton on loan. And then went from there to Halifax.
Is that the big move to Halifax? Is that? Did you feel that was just the step up that gets you closer then?
A little bit, yeah, because that's sort of the.
You're nearly there, aren't you?
That's like the, I don't know what you call it. It's like you're on the edge there,
right?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I know a lot of players, that played conference football that are really good players, and it's just not worth them stepping up.
Yeah.
So that level is probably better than you think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players that play in the conference that could play higher.
And that because they can have a job and make their money, make good money playing for a non-league team, rather than say a League Two who don't pay that well.
Yeah,
it's just not
it's not worth it, where they might have to move. Far away from home and stuff. It's just not worth it for a lot of lads. I know a lot of lads that have turned moves down to League Two sides that they would have got paid a lot less. I know people say it's not about the money, but when you're at that level and you've got kids or people have got mortgages to pay, it is what it is, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're grafting your down there.
Yeah.
So it is a grind, but I was fortunate at Halifax that I was sort of getting enough to get by, so I didn't need to have a job, so I could focus on still trying to push on and sort of getting to where I wanted to be. But it was getting to that point. Obviously, I'm a bit of a late.
Yes, how old would you have been in your last season at Halifax? How old was you?
23. So when I signed for Barnsley, I'd just turned 24. So that's sort of like.
Yeah, you're there now.
I was on the edge. Do you know what I mean? It were either then or never.
Make or break.
So I was lucky, really, that someone was willing to take a chance on me at that point.
Did you know they were interested? How did you find out that Barnsley wanted
Yeah, well, we spoke before we started this about Birmingham, didn't we? So 2 years previous, Birmingham actually tried to sign me from Halifax with Gary Rowett for peanuts as well, like literal peanuts.
Yeah, you thought they were getting a bargain.
And I really don't know why it didn't happen. I didn't really at the time. I was just happy not happy, but happy to be where I were, like never expected, or obviously knocking on from what you'd expect at that sort of age. So and I didn't really find out until after it had all blown over, and so I couldn't really do what about it. And then Barnsley actually tried to sign me the year after in January for like 100 grand, I think it were, but my contract were coming to an end, so they weren't willing to pay anymore. So they waited till the end of the season, and I actually was. I was travelling to. I travelled to Fleetwood to meet the gaffer there. Travelled to Fleetwood. On the way back, I got a phone call. I met the Lee Johnson, the Barnsley manager, in the airport on the way home, and just ended up signing there. Obviously, it were probably less of a contract, to be fair, but obviously from Barnsley it were a no-brainer really at the time, and thankfully I did, because it turned out really well there, and I owe them quite a lot for taking that chance on me, really, and giving me the platform to sort of push on and get where I am now. Yeah.
Did you hit the ground running with Barnsley, being a local lad, and immediately the fans are on side?
Yeah, it was difficult because coming from Halifax, it's a different sort of level. I've never been at an academy, so I'd never been in that environment where you train every day. Every day it's hard graft, like gym work. Do you know what I mean? As daft as that sounds, physically, we're quite tough, and obviously because I were at a later age, you're not really built into it. Yeah. So I had to sort of like get through being knackered and for the early stages. Do you know what I mean? Pre-season, I'd never really had a pre-season like that before.
How was that?
Yeah, it was tough, but I'd like to say I'm quite fit and I look after myself anyway, so I were alright, but obviously when it comes to the games, it's a different demand. Yeah. So when you get to that level, I set off really well, like first 6-7 games, doing really well, but we changed formation and I ended up out of the team, but the manager said, like, oh, it's not to do with you, like, you've done well, we were playing 3 centre-halves and he had to drop one, other one with the captain, and one was one that they'd signed from somewhere else, and it was just unfortunate that I missed out, and I didn't play for like 3 months, I think it were, and then Eki got the job, which was a great move for me. I really value him as a manager and as a coach, as a person. Really, he was class for me, and played a couple of games for the under-23s for him before he got promoted up to there.
You had that relationship with him already.
Yeah, massive. He knew what I were about, and I think he actually told me towards the end that when he came into the manager's role, he got asked if he could go out and get a centre half, and he actually said to the club, like, "Oh no, Robbo's not doing anything. I want to use him." So I played every game till the end of the season. Then we ended up getting promoted. So really? I do owe a lot to Eki, really, and having that faith. But it comes back to what I said before about like Pep. You know, having someone that sort of got that faith in you, it makes a big difference. Yeah,
that trust and belief in you.
Yeah. It does give you a bit of confidence and sort of a bit of belief in yourself, in what you're doing, really.
Went on to captain Barnsley?
Yeah, which obviously class moment. Connor left, and I remember Eki pulled me into the manager's office and he just went, "Do you fancy it?" Giving it why not? And obviously leading them out and for that period were really good. And like I say, I do owe them a lot for giving me that opportunity, really. I mean, I got some stick actually when we played. When they come here.
No, did they get? Yeah, they did give. What did they say? That's why we sold
you. See, the thing is, the worst thing, right? The ball's like coming, and I'm like sprinting onto it, and it's coming on the half volley, and I'm thinking, I'm dropping into like the middle of the pitch here, thinking, what do I do here? Do I just send it and just get rid of it because I'm on the stretch, or do I just take a chance and try and play? And I thought, knackers, I'm just sending it into the channel. Sent it into the channel, it just like dropped out for a throw-in down the bottom of the pitch, and I just heard them set off, and I was like, oh, cheers, lads. Cheers. Yeah. But it's one of them, innit?
Yeah. Then the move to Blues eventually does go through. Did you want to go? When did you hear about the news? How did that happen?
So the season we got promoted, did really well. Then set off had one season in the Championship with them and did pretty well. We did well. We tailed off towards the end of the season, but we lost a couple of players in January. Yeah. Otherwise, I thought we would have done pretty well. I had a good season myself and knew of interest from clubs, but never. I'm one of them. I think if stuff happens, it happens. You know what I mean? Never pushed anything. I had 1 year left at Barnsley. Was more than happy to stay and see it out if they didn't want to offer me a new contract. Didn't get offered anything anyway to extend. And then this came up, and when someone like Harry Redknapp meets you and says they want to sign you, and it's sort of like one of them sit back moments because Harry Redknapp, a big club like Birmingham as well. It was sort of one of them. It couldn't really not go.
I remember when we just signed you, he was saying he was talking you up to be Rio Ferdinand, number 2.
Oh, what a guy!
He's got everything. I'm thinking we're in here.
And then you saw me play,
and then you get Sam in the confidence job. Wow. No, but absolutely. And so, what were your first impressions when you first moved there? I remember when you first moved to the club and.
Yeah, it's different to what I'm used to. Do you know what I mean? I come from, but I love Barnsley, but they're a smaller club, different facilities, a lot more staff here to help you out and sort of do what you need. And it was a good change, but one that were like a bit, what's happening like. But
did you move to the area?
Yeah, I moved straight away. I was living in the hotel to start with, but then I moved up towards Sutton.
Yeah.
A bit out of the way, but
big city though as well.
Wanted to stay like north side,
close to Yorkshire as possible.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, touched on before, it were not just for me. Just looking back at it, it was tough for the club really when I first came. A lot of changes. I know we signed a lot of players.
Yeah. 16 in one window.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone really lit it up. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone really played to their true potential and stuff. And I just think that it didn't help with what the club was going through really. And then obviously Gary came in, didn't pick me for whatever reason. Do you know what I mean? Don't hold anything against anyone. It is what it is. Like I said before, I couldn't really argue with the case, but I liked what he was doing with the club, and that's what I was used to at Barnsley. We had that structure. Everyone knew what they were doing. They were a definite structure.
There's
definite
clarity.
way.
It's your favourite word, wasn't it? Clarity.
Yeah,
for the players.
That's the biggest thing I think. And I think unless you've got that, I think, like I said, touched on, most people struggle a little bit. There's only so much that pure talent can get you through.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think anyone needs a bit of structure and a bit of a idea behind them.
Right, we're going to rattle through some Twitter questions because I'm conscious of
Quickfire.
time. Go on then, Cal.
Right, first one is from Highcroft Cricket. They say, with the way we're playing this season, is the pressure on you, we touched on this earlier, to improve certain attributes?
Yeah and no. I think you'd be surprised at how good players are looking away from certain things on the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you came into training, or it's not necessarily the attributes of the players, because if you saw what players could actually do behind the scenes, or it's just certain situations we spoke about before we came on to this, that in certain situations certain things happen where other people might not see, but you're under that much pressure, it's not worth
taking that chance,
risking stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The end action might not be the greatest of a clearance, or
you mean
but
you
that's
put
just,
one into row Z, but that's the better option of giving it away, so that's man
trying to force something and losing it inside.
Yeah.
I did it, in fact, one sticks out in my mind. When Steve Cottrell were in charge, ball got clipped down the channel, and I've gone up, and it's right on the line, and I've gone up to try and head it inside to try and keep the ball.
Yeah.
And they've broke and like nearly scored. Nothing's come of it, but when you think of it, like as a defender, just head it out. But if I'd head it out, everyone would be like, "Ah, what are you doing?"
Yeah, that's it.
Little things like that. People don't
risk
realise.
and reward.
Yeah, people don't understand. Not that they don't understand, but it's different when you're on the pitch and it's 100 mile an hour, and you don't see little things, and it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to see things, and different players are different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is. So I think you'd be surprised at how technically good players are.
But if that opportunity is not right on the pitch, then get it.
Yeah, no.
Number 2.
Right, Ethan says, who's the joker of the team?
There's a couple. Digger's probably the most joker. He's got a couple of. He's just a one-liner man. Do you know what I mean? He's always got a reply.
Quick.
Yeah. Anyone says anything, he shuts you down straight away, or he loves shutting people down.
Next one is from Ben Mountford. And this, I don't know if this is true, but he says, is it true that you once were asked to help NASA divert a world-ending meteor by heading it back? Can you confirm those rumours?
Yeah, I did get a phone call, but I were busy. But no. I mean, if there were one there, I'd have a go. Do you know what I mean?
Proper Yorkshire steel. And this is one we discussed actually before we came on. It's from Basechems. He said, would you rather fight 50 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized dog? And I know we broke this down as well.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because
No brainer, mate.
Depends how
It's
big the
no-brainer.
duck is. Do you know what I mean?
A
The
mallard.
horses.
It's a mallard. Oh, yeah. What do you
The
mean?
horses are going into a duck size, but how big's that duck?
It's a mallard, mate.
So there's 50 like decent sized horses there. They're gonna get at you.
They peck you a bit.
Do you know what I mean?
They'll bite you and kick you. But I'm still saying
One big duck, that's dangerous.
It's the
isn't it?
wingspan, isn't it?
stands on its back
Yeah,
legs.
it's getting
Boom,
after you,
wings
innit?
go out. Beak. 6 foot beak.
It's not that big. Come on, a horse isn't that big.
Mate. What these? I'm just saying. I'd rather swat and kick.
Yeah, but I'm getting away from
With
a
your
duck. Do you mean? Have you
clearances,
seen how
with
fast
your
I am?
clearances, 50 of them are gone. That
Yeah,
one.
into
Move them
Rose
into
Ed.
Rose
They're gone. They're way gone.
I don't know, you know. It's a tough one.
You
But
got
I
that
think
to answer?
I'm getting away from a duck, aren't I? Have you seen how quick I am?
You're not slow for a big man. I think you know
Don't
what.
stop saying
Here's
that.
the thing. Here's the
Backhanded
thing.
compliment.
No,
Yeah,
I
it is
think
for a big
mate.
man.
No, I think strikers sometimes right will chase something that you're after, thinking they've got you here because
Yeah.
you're a big lumpy centre
No,
half.
they ain't got me.
Turn of
Sorry.
pace.
Get me in the
Sorry.
channel, I'm all right.
Class, mate.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go for. I don't
How are
know.
you going to attack a horse-sized duck?
Head it.
No, I told you I'd just get away from it, wouldn't I?
No, you've got, this is a fight, mate. You're
So
locked
I've
in a
got to
room.
go in.
Yeah,
I've got to go in.
You live or you die.
I back myself against both.
So this confidence
Either
has become
or.
an issue.
Either or.
No, I'd take the horses, I think.
Right,
They'd be easy to get
parting
rid of.
thought. Yorkshire.
What do you mean? What do you want me to say about Yorkshire?
You are
glorious, mate.
stinking of Yorkshire, mate.
Actually draped in a
And-
white rose now.
Yeah,
It's
and
glorious.
I don't understand the
God's
obsession.
country. What do you
all-
mean you don't understand the
All
obsession?
football clubs from Yorkshire, all they chant is Yorkshire. No other county do it. It's just a real unhealthy obsession with your own.
I'm not. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but
Yeah, go on,
it's
back
'cause
yourself.
all the other counties are aren't they?
How? Because you've
What do you
got a
mean,
hill,
Yorkshire?
you've got a few hills and a bit of
God's
water
country.
running.
Why do they call it God's
They
country?
don't. You do. No one.
Have you got a Yorkshire tea?
I have, mate. Yeah, I actually do buy Yorkshire tea.
Exactly.
It's the only good thing
That's
about
what
it.
No,
I'll give
it's
Yorkshire,
not.
yeah.
It's the only
It's
good
glorious, mate. You get up there, it's fresh air. It's lovely. There's countryside. You get down here, it's all like smog and smoke. And then you go
thinks he's
further
in
down
London.
into London. Jesus Christ! You can only last a day there. When I come back from London, I've got a sore throat.
It's because you talk too much.
Shut up.
Right, Robbo. I'd like to say it's been a pleasure, it hasn't.
Yeah, no,
Thank you ever so much, mate. We got half hour out of you.
not
so-
a problem. Don't
But
ever
on a
ask-
serious note,
don't ever ask me again.
One and
mate.
done.
On a serious note, thank you for talking to us. It's great to see you in the team,
Not a
mate.
problem,
Genuinely.
pal. Thank you very much.
The Blues Talk Podcast with Dale Moon and Callum Denning.
Barnsley's favourite son, Marc Roberts. We didn't even mention his javelin-like long throw.
I wonder where he's got that from.
He learnt that on the mean streets of South Yorkshire.
Yeah,
I don't know in what context you'd need to learn a long throw like that, but
No,
he got it from somewhere.
He's yeah, interesting backstory, isn't it, Robbo's? You know, the fact that it was do or die at 23, 24 years
Went and
old.
got a degree, by the way, while still playing non-league football.
Yeah, went up to Lincoln and studied and come through the non-league route. You can sort of see that, can't you? He's not, I think, by his own admission, although I think he was trying to say, actually, technically, he backs himself a little. He thinks he can play, but
Oh,
he
yeah.
just chooses not to do it because he's too fearful of giving the ball away in a bad position. But I think you can see that non-league upbringing in him. The way he gets up and wins his aerial battles is just typical of what you need as a player in non-league football. And he's added little bits to his game that's meant he can climb through the leagues. And you know, Halifax, Barnsley, and now at Blues. I think we say like he's quick. As he mentioned, he's not getting done by many players will outrun Marc Roberts. I think you'd look
Shocks
at him
him.
and think, I've got, you know, if you're a nippy little striker, you'd look at him and think, right, we'll run
Big
rings.
6'4" northerner.
Yeah, it's not going to be his forte, but he's got a good turn of pace, good old-fashioned defender, and a top guy as well.
Due his first goal this season as well, and what a time to get it this Saturday against Luton. I think first time we've played them in 12 years, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think it was 2006, I think.
Yeah, Rowan Vine battered us twice, so we went and signed him.
Got a move off the back of it.
And
Yeah, it's
one
happened
goal.
before. I think Robbie Blake might have done something similar.
Yeah,
Yeah, Luton. I mean, like you say, one of those sides who have gone up through the divisions in the past few years, back in the Championship. I think all the talk pre-game was about how they like to score goals, actually, and they're a bit open in that sense. So it could make for another good game on the eye, actually, an entertaining one, because as we say, we're not going to play any other way, particularly down here at St Andrews. So, to have a side down here who's going to take the game to us, it'll open up spaces. It's just whether, again, the Roberts and co can keep them out, or we have a 7-goal thriller on our hands, and hopefully we are the right end of it.
Yeah, I was about to say, hopefully in our favour. Of course, former Blue in their ranks who will be out to get us on Saturday, Andy Shinnie.
You know, I didn't see him play too often.
No.
Shinnie.
And I think that'll be one of his main criticisms of his time at Blues himself.
I think he's a player. Technically, he's very good, but he probably wasn't as mobile as what we'd want. And the system and the time that when he was at the club probably didn't suit the way he plays. But again, another player who's gone away, rebuilt it, and come back again to the same level. So, yeah, I'm always fearful, wary. Although Sam Gallagher wasn't at his best on Tuesday, so he didn't cause as much of a threat as I thought he would. When we have an ex-Blues player come down, because you know they've got that extra little percent they want to do well against their former club. So, yeah, I'm confident. I mean, when you're looking at it on paper, it's Luton Town at home, but we've seen down the Blues down over the years that never ever that easy, is it? And I know it's cliche, but a particularly side that are below us in the table, you always worry that they're banana skins. That being said, I feel we're a different outfit. So I do go into Saturday with a bit more confidence than I had done in previous years.
I agree with you there. Well, audio commentary, of course, available here on Blues TV. Jonathan Bell and Dele Adebola on commentary, and yourself and Darren Purse in the studio.
He came in some rascal gear, by the way. He had a maroon blazer with a turtleneck navy sweater on for Tuesday's
He's
game.
betrayed his roots. He's Millwall.
He looked like a Bond villain, and I told him. And some people said it was a bit too close to claret and blue as well.
Well, can't have that.
So he needs to be careful if he wants to keep coming down to this place. But yeah, he'll be in the studio with me. Great, in all seriousness, great eye for the game. Yeah, what aspirations of becoming a coach and getting into it. Of course, in that works with Oxford, but at more senior level. So yeah, always good value and can really see the tactical side, which is good in the studio.
Well, the thoughts of him and Dele Adebola here on Blues TV on Saturday. But one man who made his Blues debut on Tuesday and will be looking to build on it on Saturday is Josh McEachran. And how better to be initiated into this football club than to take on the Quickfire Questions.
The Blues Talk Podcast.
Okay, so we're at a wet and miserable Trillion Trophy training centre with Blues new boy Josh McEachran. And yeah, mate, you're our Quickfire Questions contender for this week. Let's kick off with favourite restaurant to eat.
Zuma.
Nice. What's your karaoke song or initiation song?
I've got a few, to be fair. I've had a few songs in the past. Probably The World's Greatest.
It gets everyone involved.
Yeah.
Very safe. Which country produces the best food? So are you an Italian, a Mexican?
No, Japanese, to be fair.
Nice, mate. Bit of Wagamamas.
Yeah.
Have you got a middle name?
Yeah, my dad's name Marc.
Very easy. I'm going to get you bullied, is it? You're okay. Ideal holiday destination?
I've never been, but I'd love to go Bora Bora.
Yeah. Favourite TV series?
I just finished Top Boy, that was good, to be fair, and I was Peaky Blinders as well.
Oh, good. So you get that one in. Good man. Okay, this is an interesting one. What's the best goal you've seen on the pitch, right? But you have to have been on the pitch at the time. Can't be scored by you at any level of the game.
I think it was quite a few years ago against Bolton, and it was Didier Drogba against Bolton, and I was on the pitch, and I think it was the third or fourth goal, but that was probably the best goal I've seen.
What was it? Was it the one where he's
away?
Drilled it from distance?
From quite far, yeah.
Sort of in the middle of the goal, but swazzed it. Decent. It's not good that you're on the pitch there, mate.
I can't remember any other top goals, to be fair.
It's a tough question. What did you go dressed as to the last fancy dress party? It's usually a Christmas one with the lads.
The last fancy dress?
Yeah, so when you've had to go to a fancy dress party, what did you go dressed as?
I think it was Voldemort, actually. the last Christmas do, because we had to pick out a name and I got V, so I was struggling, to be fair. Someone has Voldemort.
You've not got many options with V, to be fair. If the whole squad was in a Royal Rumble, who's left in the ring at the end?
Got to go for the meathead skipper, Harley.
I knew that was coming. 3 words to this.
It would be out of Harley and Stocky. They're both big lads, aren't they?
Yeah, you ain't arguing with either of them. Best pair of trainers or boots you've ever owned?
Best pair of boots, probably the black and red CTRs back in the day, probably about 5-6 years ago. Yeah, they're the best boots. Trainers, I used to absolutely buzz off my Reebok workouts wearing them to school.
Class, mate, they were. Favourite pizza topping? Like, what pizza would you order?
Pepperoni, always pepperoni.
Aftershave of choice?
Joe Malone, Mura Tonka.
Oh, nice, mate. What are the names of all the pets you or your family have owned?
Bloody hell, that's quite a few. I had a blue French bulldog, but that only lasted a month, and now my nan's got him. He was called Prince. And then I used to have another dog, well, it was my mum's, called Jake. Then I've had a rabbit called Rivaldo.
Great name.
And a guinea pig called Gigsy.
Mate, what a name. That's the best answer we've had so far. Most played song or album?
Chris Brown, Fame, probably.
Have you got any tattoos? What are they?
Yeah, I've got quite a few, to be fair. A lot of them are for one of my friends that passed away, so that's for him. My arm sleeve, and then I've got a lot for my family and stuff. So they do have meanings. Yeah,
sentimental meanings. What type of student were you at school?
My timekeeping wasn't great, to be fair. So I was just always wanted to be out playing football. So my teachers probably didn't say I was the best student.
No, dirty school trousers.
Yeah.
What's the strangest thing you've eaten? Maybe abroad or something?
Don't know.
A lot of the time it's
snails,
like
maybe.
Food. Yeah, that is a bit.
Snails.
What's it taste
I did
like?
actually try a scorpion once in Thailand, and that was quite.
They wrapped around like a kebab stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
weren't great. Wouldn't have one again.
Crispy, no, I bet. Is there anything on your bucket list that you want to do before you die?
Probably do a skydive, actually. Yeah.
Bit of adrenaline.
Not in England, somewhere abroad.
Yeah.
With an unbelievable view. But yeah, probably do a skydive. I'll be absolutely
bricking it.
But yeah, I would love to do it.
Now, I know footballers think they don't dress poorly, but what's the worst item of clothing you worn when you look back at it and say, what was I thinking? That laugh suggests you've got a whole wardrobe full of rascal gear.
To be fair, because a lot of people come for my gear. I wear these sliders a lot, these Gucci sliders, and I get absolutely battered every time I wear them because they've got fur in them as well.
Okay.
But I'm having them, to be fair. But yeah, they're out there.
Okay. Are you addicted to anything?
No, don't think so. Any? No.
No. We've had chocolate. We've had FIFA.
No, I don't have a PlayStation, so no, nothing.
All right, this is an interesting one. What's the best way to eat chicken? So, what part of the chicken? Are you a thigh, a breast, a wing, and then how do you have it flavoured?
From Nando's. I love the wings, hot, and always on the bone. I like it always on the bone, more tender.
All right. What are your thoughts on fishing? Like people who choose to fish for fun?
No, my Mrs. Dad tells me all the time he was world champion fishing, but it doesn't interest me in the slightest. To be fair,
that's awkward around the dinner table. You just don't care.
Just not
chatting about it. Have you got any sporting memorabilia? So, what's your proudest? If any shirts you've swapped, or any boots, or anything like that?
No, I have got quite a few shirts. To be fair, I've got Gerrard's, Suarez's. Got a few big shirts.
Decent.
But probably them.
And finally, have you ever read a book cover to cover, so front to back, and what books, if so?
Yeah, I've read Perlow's
yes, I've got that one.
autobiography, which was good. That was very good. Iniesta's book as well, which I enjoyed. They're the only ones I've read. But I do want to read a lot more, to be fair. Just don't have the time.
Yeah, you ain't got a lot of time as a footballer. Josh McEachran, thank you very much.
Cheers.
The Blues Talk Podcast with Dale Moon and Callum Denning.
Josh McEachran with his Blues initiation on the Quickfire Questions. Another eclectic bunch of answers.
Japanese, his favourite food. He said Japan produced the best food. Out of interest, what's your answer to that question? Which country produces the best food?
Ooh. A lot of people go Italian. I might be completely rogue and say Korea.
That is
Korean
random,
barbecue.
mate.
Unbelievable.
That
Bit of
is
bulgogi
random.
or Korean fried chicken.
I mean,
Give it a go.
Mexican.
No, it's up there.
Mate, Mexican is elite level.
What about British?
Average. Elite level.
Distinctly average.
Yeah. But no, it's good. It's actually growing in confidence, not in terms of on the pitch, but around the place.
Yeah.
He's coming out of himself a little bit more now. He's been here a few weeks, hasn't he? And obviously made his debut.
He did.
So I think one or two fans pointed out his passing was decent. I think he's very tidy. It's what you'd expect from a former Brentford man, isn't it?
Well,
but
you don't get into the Chelsea academy for nothing as
yeah,
well, by the way.
like he said, some of the shirts and merchandise he's got, Suarez and Gerrard, and the best goal he's seen on the pitch was when I was on the pitch with Didier Drogba. His name dropped central from Josh McEachran, but, if you've been there, fair play to him.
No, he's in the big time now.
Yeah, no, good.
Right, Blues women in action on Sunday at Solihull Moors, taking on Liverpool, one place above them in the Barclays FA Women's Super League table. It's going to be a close one.
Yeah, still early doors in the season, isn't it? I know we looked at the table. They've got that 1 point on the board from their 4 games. We're yet to pick up a point. So Marta will just want to get up and running really in the WSL. In terms of the table, I'm not too concerned just yet. We've played 3 games, so majority of teams have played 4. But the quicker they can get those points on the board, just for the girls to grow in confidence, really. No, there's been quite a few changes in the summer, so quite like ourselves, a bit of a transitional phase. But when you look at how Liverpool have started, they're there for the taking on Sunday.
How good to see, by the way. Speaking of players getting into form, Rachel Williams back on goal scoring form after a long injury layoff.
She's great. She's
like her old self.
She is the biggest character in football.
Oh,
Rachel Williams.
You know what? You say that, I still think it's reasonably close in the women's team between her and Hannah Hampton. There's 2 massive characters in that side.
Yeah, but very, very different because
in their own way.
Hannah Hampton is very playful, but a bit loopy in a nice way. Rachel Williams is just a big presence in the
She'll
dressing
have you
room.
as well.
She's just the leader of the pack, and you would not even argue with her. She's like the type of person who you'd be friends with out of fear. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure she sat there grinning, by the way. Listen to this.
Well, it's true. We need to get her on the Blues podcast. We will definitely get her on the Blues podcast before the end of the season.
It's been in the pipeline for a long time as well, hasn't it? We've mentioned it to her. We had a little bit, would we say an interjection during Brie Vasali's Quickfire Questions?
She's great, yeah, shouting about, and she's just a nuisance, and she's rogue. She's just
in the nicest way.
She's rogue. You're scared, you're
scared.
I'm
terrified.
She's very rogue, but she's class. So we'll definitely get her on.
If I bump into her at the training ground now, that was all you, by the way.
Fine,
all you.
It's all right.
Right, I think that is just about all we've got time for then this week. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully, more points on the board. You'd like to
what
think
we got coming up, Cal? What we got coming up?
We've got Luton
Cardiff,
tomorrow, Cardiff, Fulham.
So we've only got a couple Saturdays. No midweekers coming up. Of course, a few fixture changes. West Bromwich will be an early kick-off on the Saturday.
It is.
What's the Wednesday game?
QPR's on Sky, but that would have been a midweek anyway. Just means you can't watch it here on Blues TV.
Yeah,
disappointing.
Sky killing us. But yeah, hopefully we're sitting here in 2 weeks' time. More points on the board, creeping up towards the P word. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but let's see if we're there in the end.
This has been the Blues Talk podcast. I've been Callum Denning.
I've been Dale Moon.
See you in a fortnight.
The Blues Talk podcast with Dale Moon and Callum Denning.